stop clicking. You've been living in a cage, one so invisible you don't even know it's there. Your thoughts, your dreams, your fears, they're not entirely yours. They were handed to you by school, by culture, by people who never questioned anything themselves. And the worst part? You've been calling it reality. But what if I told you there's an ancient philosophy, older than your country, older than your religion, that was banned, buried, and forgotten because it taught people how to break free, really free, not the fake freedom we're sold today. And if you miss one part of this, you'll miss the key that could unlock your mind for good. Stick around till the end, and I'll share a single idea that will flip your entire view of life. This video is not just about some old, dusty philosophy written on scrolls by long-dead men. It's about something real, something you can feel in your bones once you hear it. We're going to talk about a way of seeing the world that makes fear shrink, that makes confusion dissolve, and that hands you back the steering wheel to your own mind. This isn't self-help fluff. It's something deeper. A truth that once freed entire civilizations from mental slavery. In just a few minutes, we'll look at a practice so ancient. It predates empires, yet it has more relevance now than ever. You'll see why some of the wisest people who ever lived believed that freedom isn't something you win or earn, it's something you remember. To understand where this all begins, we need to go back, way back, not to ancient Greece. Further, before the great temples and philosophers, somewhere deep in the desert sands of Egypt and the forest temples of India, there was a whisper, a shared truth, that reality isn't just what you see, it's what you believe about what you see. The ancient Stoics, the Vedics, even the early mystics of Kemet all agreed on one radical idea, that your suffering does not come from the world, but from your interpretation of it. Let that sink in. They believed the real prison isn't out there, it's in here, inside your perception. They weren't playing around. These weren't monks in caves avoiding life. These were people who looked life in the face with all its chaos and said, "You can't break me because I see what you really are." The first phase of this forgotten philosophy is something I call the Great Forgetting. It happens the moment you're born. You come into the world whole, untouched, free, a blank page with infinite potential. And then, the programming starts. Your name is given to you. Your gender, your beliefs, your role. You're taught what's good, what's bad, what's real, what's impossible. Before you can even form your own thoughts, they've already been written for you. And so you start living someone else's script, a hand-me-down identity, one that keeps you small, obedient, afraid to step outside the lines. Have you ever felt that weird sense, like something's off, but you can't explain it? Like you're living life through a foggy window? That's not depression. That's your soul remembering something you forgot. Then comes the second phase, the mirror stage. At some point, if you're lucky, you catch a glimpse, maybe through a crisis, a breakup, a loss, a strange dream. Something shakes you. And for a second, you see the mask fall. You realize you've been living to please others, to fit in, to not be abandoned. You look in the mirror and wonder, who even is this? That moment is terrifying, but it's also the most sacred thing that can happen to you. Because once the mask cracks, the light can get in. Have you ever had that weird feeling like time stopped? Like none of this is quite real? That's the mirror showing you that reality might not be what you thought it was. And you're more than you ever imagined. The third phase is the choice point. Once you see the illusion, you can't unsee it. But now you face the real challenge. Do you go back to sleep, or do you keep waking up? This is where most people turn away. It's easier to stay plugged into the matrix, to keep playing the character you were assigned. But the few who choose to keep going, those are the ones who discover something wild. That freedom isn't out there waiting. It's inside you, right now. You don't need more money. You don't need more followers. You don't need permission. You need clarity, the courage to see through the noise and trust that still, small voice inside you. That voice that's been whispering, "This isn't all there is." And here's where ancient wisdom meets modern truth. Neuroscience today tells us that your brain literally rewires itself based on your beliefs. If you believe the world is dangerous, your brain scans for threats. If you believe you're powerless, your mind blocks creative ideas. This isn't magic, it's biology. What those ancient mystics were saying thousands of years ago is now backed by science. Your perception creates your experience. So when the Stoics said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events," they weren't being poetic. They were giving you the keys to reality. Modern psychology calls this cognitive framing. It's the lens through which you see everything. But the ancients went deeper. They taught that if you can strip away every belief you've inherited, every identity you've been sold, every fear you've picked up from others, what remains is truth. Not a truth, the truth. And that truth is this: you are not your thoughts. You are the awareness watching them. You are not the storm. You are the sky it moves through. That may sound mystical, but think about it. Haven't you ever noticed that your thoughts come and go, yet something in you stays constant? That unchanging part is you, the real you, and no one can touch that. But there's a price to awakening. And this is the fourth stage, the death of the old self. It's not dramatic. It's subtle. It's quiet. It's the moment you realize you don't need to fight the world anymore because you were never really separate from it. You stop chasing validation. You stop fearing rejection. You don't become lazy, you become real. And that scares people, because the world depends on you staying in character. But once you drop the mask, you stop playing the game. You see the system for what it is, a story, and now you get to write your own. Have you ever felt like you already lived this life before? Or like you're waking up from a long dream? That's not an accident. Mystics across cultures spoke of this. Some said life is a school, others a test. But the wisest among them believed life is a remembering, a return. Not to some religious dogma, but to yourself, your true self. The one that existed before fear, before shame, before you learned how to lie to yourself just to be liked. And now, we come to the turning point. The question that everything hinges on. What if you've already died once and just forgot? What if this isn't your first life, but the one you chose to wake up in? Slow down for a second. Let that question breathe, because once you ask it, you can never go back. It opens a door in your mind, and on the other side of that door is freedom. Not the kind on billboards, the kind no one can take from you, the kind that burns quietly in your chest, even on your worst day. You don't need to find your purpose. You are the purpose. You don't need to find yourself. You've never been lost. The world just trained you to look everywhere except inside. But now you know, and that knowing is everything. The light isn't coming. It's always been inside you, waiting, watching, whispering. Remember. So now I ask you, which phase did you feel stuck in? Was it the great forgetting? The mirror stage? Or are you standing right now at your own choice point? Drop a comment. Let's talk. Because you're not the only one walking this path. And next, we'll explore the forgotten truth about reincarnation. Why so many souls remember what they were never taught. Subscribe if you're ready to go deeper. The journey's only just begun.